There's a situation that confuses people more than almost anything else. When someone shows up, calls you, connects with you, but still doesn't choose you. And the hardest part is nothing feels clearly wrong. But something isn't right either. Hi guys, well, I'm Renee, and before we begin our episode of Love Hacks, I wanted to read a little letter that I got from someone. Well, we got. Michaela is at a conference, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. It reads, "Hey, I've been seeing someone for a while now, and I feel stuck in something I can't define. We talk every day, there's consistency, there's closeness, there's even intimacy. But every time I try to understand what actually is, I hit the same wall." That's hard, isn't it? Then they go on to say, "He says he's not ready. He says the timing isn't right. He says there's too much going on in his life right now. And I've tried to be patient. I've tried to be understanding. But the longer this goes on, the more I feel like I'm in something real that he refuses to name. And I don't know if I'm being understanding or just staying somewhere somewhere with someone who's not choosing me." So let's get started. Let's kick this off. Now, the problem is not that nothing's happening. I mean, you can be in something with someone and for a time even be quite happy with it. All right? Like you can be in something without a label. And yeah, for a time, and again, even labels, I mean, it's more about an understanding, right? So for a time, you can have this awesome vagueness because you feel secure, you feel confident that the other person is into you, okay? I'm having something to drink because my mouth is very dry and throat. All right. Anyhow, back to the topic. So for a while that can work, this business of, hey, I mean, we're not really defined, but it's cool, But over time you start to think, well, what is it I really want and need? Because this fluffy, duffy, fun stuff is great for a couple of months. But hey, I had a work crisis or I had an emotional crisis. And Fluffy Duffy is nowhere to be seen. Fluffy Duffy only appears when it's Fluffy Duffy time, right? So the problem is that, after a couple of months, something is happening, but you're getting the Fluffy Duffy, which is not what you need, right? And you enjoy Fluffy Duffy. You enjoy that cotton candy magic. But at the same time, after a few months, you're like, okay, I love the cotton candy magic, the Fluffy Duffy stuff, and whipped cream, whatever you want to call it. But I do have to pay bills. I have stresses. I want to talk about certain subjects with my potential partner, hopefully my partner. And so that almost relationship of, hey babe, how you doing? Well, today my boss said he would demote me. Hey babe, I'll talk to you on Friday, okay? I got things to do. Hey, let's go to the fair. And you're like, but this is something serious I want to talk about. Hey babe, I don't have time, okay? Hey, Johnny's at the door, all right? See ya. Clearly, right there, you're getting the, hey, I like you, I dig you when you're fun. But when you have to get serious, I'm not interested. And that's not the basis for a relationship. I mean, some people might say so if they want to live in the dark their whole lives. And some people do that. They do the fluffy duffy forever. They turn the blind eye. They ignore the fact that maybe their partner, is only wants fun times. And for some people that might even work, but it's not a deep relationship. Because everything is, you try to make everything positive, sure, but it's impossible to keep a Willy Wonka world or a My Little Pony world on a regular basis. Or Mickey Mouse, sorry, I have hiccups. Or Warner Bros. Bugs Bunny. I could go on The Simpsons without the forecasts, blah, blah, blah. The fluffy duffy world is amazing when it's occurrent, meaning when it happens at the right time. But it isn't amazing if, hey, I'm about to be demoted, or hey, I might lose my job, or hey, my mother is not doing so well, she's at the hospital. Real life situations. And people who only want fluffy duffy, well, that's what I call an almost relationship, because they cannot dig into the serious aspects of a relationship. They just want it all puffity poofity pa. And as we say, clouds blow with the wind. Anything that looks like a cloud is nice, but it'll blow with the wind, right? Now, emotional availability versus real availability. Someone can talk to you all day, like, hey, look at the pizza I ordered. Hey, look at my nails. Hey, look at my new track shorts. So they can talk to you all day. Or, hey, I miss you. I really love you. Or, hey, here's a nice song. Hey, they can do that all day. They should be working, right, or studying, but some people do that all day, right? So they can do that, or they can seem to be emotionally close. Oh, yeah, I love you, and through thick and thin, and they can show up consistently, like ding dong, and it's Thursday. Oh my God, you're here. Yeah, I just wanted to give you some flowers. That's all real sweet, right? It is. It's lovely. But they can do all that and still not be available for a relationship. So, ding dong, here's some flowers. Oh, can we make love? And maybe you've had the worst day of your life at work, or maybe if you're a single parent, you've been dealing with issues at your kid's school, and the person shows up all sweet, and you're like, oh, thank God you're here. And they come with flowers and wine and distract you, but they never engage. Like, you're like, oh, I had such a hard day. No, be quiet. Let's make out. That, again, is not a real relationship. Because what they're looking for is that fluffy, duffy comfort. That cotton candy, rainbow, bright. Those of you who don't know Rainbow Bright, I'll refer to My Little Pony. There's several generations of that, or the Care Bears, or, everything is fuzzy wuzzy. But the minute you want to engage into your problems and the person says, no, be quiet. No, give me a kiss. Give us a kiss. Let's make love. But you never touch the subject on, your, hey, my boss was an asshole to me today because he rejected my report because of this contradiction in my. If you can't have those sorts of conversations with your partner, or then your relationship is an almost relationship or a fluffy duffy one, a very superficial, like whipped cream or Cool Whip. Okay, whippity whip, but nobody really gets whipped. It's all fluffy duffy. And that is not going to help you. It's not, because availability is not about showing up, because you can be a one-dimensional character and show up and be like, I'm here for you. Come on, let's go upstairs. No, it's about decision. A real partner is going to come over and say, okay, maybe they'll say, give us a kiss first. No, I don't want. Okay, what's wrong, honey? Tell me. Oh my gosh, my boss said he'd demote me if I didn't meet the sales requisite this month. I'm very stressed. I have to pay school bills. I have to pay the rent. My ex is, I'm just giving positive scenarios. Or, oh my gosh, if you're in college, oh my gosh, I have an opportunity to go abroad, but it's really far away from here. Where, my dear? It's in Siberia, Russia. Oh gosh. Okay, well, maybe I can work closer. I'm exaggerating, but the point is the couples get past the fluffy duffy because they already know they love each other. And they're now looking at the real problems. Or, oh my gosh, honey, what's wrong? My gosh, there's no water in my condo. And there's a war in the board of directors and they just can't come to an agreement. And meantime, the whole condo is without water. Oh, wow. Hey, I can get you some water carafes. I can call in a pipe. Those are the real problems people face. And I'm just mentioning 3, right? Well, the second one is kind of creative, but it could happen as well. What I'm getting at is a real partner will live real situations with you, even if they're not pretty. Because, again, you cannot have a Rainbow Bright or My Little Pony, Cabbage Patch Kid existence, or Mickey Mouse, or Bugs Bunny. Hey, what's up, Doc? Oh, I have problems with you. You got a gun? Well, not a gun, a rifle. Oh, I'm going to go hide in my Bugs Bunny hole and go to bed and I'll see you later. No, it's not like that. I'm not trying to paint it black either. No, want to paint it black. I'm just throwing myself off. But yeah, it's not fluffy duffy and it's not all black either. It's being realistic. All right, so real availability is being with your partner and saying, okay, I get you're stressed and I get why. And I'm here for you. And if you want to talk about that, we can talk about it. And if you want to change the subject, we can change the subject. But I'm not going to impose, hey, let's go to the fair and feel fluffy duffy. Unless you want to. I might suggest it, but if you feel miserable because of your situation at work or maybe with your direct family, I'm going to support you. And we'll talk about it and we'll get through it. And that's it. That's being real. That's real presence, right? So it's about a decision to Take that, because maybe you, the partner, might have been thinking, hey, well, let's be all fluffy duffy tonight, and your partner isn't because of these things, right? Now, of course, there's a trap, right? And some people fall into traps in almost relationships. You know, when someone gives you just enough, just the little breadcrumbs a la Hansel and Gretel. You know, the little breadcrumbs. Oh, a nice little breadcrumb. Or is that a crouton? Oh, whatever it is, it's delicious. And I'm following a path. And it's just enough. But am I fully fed following these little breadcrumbs? Yeah. You're like, well, I need to go on a diet. So you start negotiating with yourself. You're like, well, whatchamacallit gives me little bits and pieces, you know, and those moments are very special. They last maybe 2 hours or 10 minutes. They're not every day, but they make my day. And I start even depending on those moments. And so you start negotiating with yourself. And then you're like, oh, he didn't show up today. Oh, why didn't he? And then another day passes. No, he still didn't show up. Oh, I'm not going to bother him. And then you start thinking, after a week, you're like, oh. It can, by the way, it can go the other way, guys, okay? It can be a girl doing this to a guy, or it can be gay couples, whatever, lesbian couples, etc., etc. Okay, I'm not going to get into the whole LGBTQ. I'm not going to get into all that, but I'm saying it's general, okay? Those little breadcrumbs that are just enough to tempt your taste buds, but they're certainly not enough to fill your stomach. So that's when you self-doubt and you're like, well, maybe I should be more patient. Maybe they just need time. Maybe this will turn into something. Well, guys, sorry to break it to you. Here's the truth. Time doesn't create commitment, folks. I'm sorry to say. It doesn't. You can be with somebody for years and even get with them, but if they never define something with you and you don't define it, you can be in that same situation for a long time, and time never comes back. Okay, so time doesn't create commitment. What does is clarity. So if you're with breadcrumb man or woman after 2 months, and you're like, you know, I like breadcrumbs, but I really need a proper sandwich. You go to the person without being rude and you say, okay. So basically, person, I really like you. No, I don't want to suffocate you. I don't want to be your Klingon. But at the same time, I do want a little more investment. I don't want you going out with other people. I mean, if you think this is just a freelance sort of gig, well, no. And I know you're busy, but guess what? So am I. So this is what I want. I want you to be faithful to me, and I want to see you once a week. You have the right to be clear. Because then they can't say, hey, you told me something else. Hey, no, I'm telling you this. I want this and this. Do you agree or not? Many times people don't listen and they go with the moment. And then the person that wants the relationship is like, I want this. And I'm like, but did you convey it? Did you actually say it? Voila. La confusion. I hope I said that correctly. Or, behold, confusion. We don't want confusion. We want clarity. Because it saves time. Guys, we don't live to be 5,000 years old. We live to be, well, these days, maybe 104. But out of that life, what part is really romantically inclined, if you will? I mean, the older you get, the less time you want to waste. So, clarity is key. Absolutely. Now, you have to take a step back as well and think, well, what are you actually feeling with this almost relationship? Do you want it to become a proper relationship? Because you also have to question yourself, right? I mean, what are you willing to accept and what are you willing to invest on your part? You're confused because their actions and their decisions don't match, even though you've had to talk a couple of times. Like if you say, for example, I want a relationship that's not suffocating. And you tell this person, you tell them, I want a relationship that's not suffocating, meaning I don't want to live with you and your kids. I have my own kids, giving an example. But I want us to see each other on days we can. For example, Saturdays. Are you okay with it? Yeah. Or no, can we see each other every other Sunday? Okay. And then you say, I want sexual commitment. And then the person says, but why? And you're like, well, because I tend to invest emotions and I don't want to get a disease. Is that so hard to understand? No, you're absolutely right. And so you go through these points, because maybe the person will say, well, I want to be polyamorous. That's when you can say, well, you know what? I really like you, but I don't want to be your number 5. Your mambo number 5. I really don't. That's not what I want. So then you break up, you give yourself time, and you might get another partner, and then you again lay down the groundwork after a month of seeing this person. I'd say a month is good enough to then start laying down some logical ground rules, right? And when you do that, when you've reached the decision and they've agreed, okay, you know what? I agree with you. I think we should be sexually exclusive. So don't worry, I'm not going to go cheating on you. And then you find out they're contradicting themselves. Well, that's a situation where, yeah, they agreed with you and yet they're completely defying what you tried to establish. They're disrespecting you by breaking that rule of, hey, we're sexually exclusive. And these things, guys, you really have to lay them down. Because if you're not clear at the beginning, again, clarity. If you're not clear, chances are you're going to be extremely disappointed. So, yeah, Now, if your brain keeps trying to reconcile both, well, you won't be able to sleep. No, it has to be made clear. Hey, we reached an agreement. That's what we're going to respect. Okay? Like if he says, for example, you know what? I really don't want you. I know you're best friends with your ex-boyfriend, but honestly, I really don't want you seeing him in person. You can talk to him on a chat, whatever, but I don't want you meeting with him in person. And you might say, well, but hey, what's your problem? No, because I'm your boyfriend or I'm your new lover. I don't want you seeing an ex. Because who knows, where there was fire, hey, embers are left, ashes are left, but maybe you can, I don't know, resuscitate the fire. I mean, I really don't want you seeing that person in person. You can talk with them on a chat, because I can handle that. But I don't want you seeing them in person. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to meet that person. I'm not interested. Well, if you say, okay, I got it, then that's that. You respect it. That's it. There's no questioning, oh, but why? But he's really... No. There's no need to explain. They're just couple rules. Otherwise, you're in an almost relationship where there's no, hey, you're with me tonight, but hey, I might like somebody else tomorrow. Well, then that's not a real relationship. That's not even an almost. That's just, well, I'll bang whomever I want, whatever day of the week, whatever crops up. And maybe I'll be months without anything, but I have no commitment to anything. Well, no. Unless you want that. Unless you're such a free spirit, you're a phoenix, you just want to fly around. There are people like that. But I think for the most part, we do kind of want, a partner. And with that partner, most of us want sexual fidelity, emotional fidelity, because if they spread their talents, the more they spread those talents, like the more unfaithful they are, the less deep they are with you. And I saw that on a podcast, and trust me, this woman that said this was hot. And I'm not saying that's important. I'm just saying this woman is a gorgeous woman, happily married. And she said, being in an open marriage, open relationship, I mean, nothing really against it, but if you think about it, it's never going to be that deep, because the person is spreading him or herself thin. So you're really never going to reach any depth. You're going to be on the surface. Is that what you want? You think about it. Now, getting to the real question. The real question is not, does he or she care about me? Okay, that's not the question. It's, are they choosing me? Because care without choice still leaves you waiting, leaves you in limbo. You again, we've mentioned this before. You really, unless you're in that mindset, unless you don't care, and there are people who are like, you know what, I don't care. Who cares? There are people like that. Or maybe they're experiencing some crisis. They're like, live and let live, or live and let die. No, I'm just kidding. I'm easy, whatever. I'll go with Barney today, and maybe Johnson will come to me tomorrow, and I'm fine. It's the same for me because I don't care. There are people like that. But if you do care, if you do want something serious, well, then you shouldn't be asking yourself, are they choosing me? No, they would have, in a real relationship, they would have already chosen you. They would have already said, you know what, I want to be with this man or woman. Sorry, that's my dog snoring. Deep thoughts. But yeah, they'd be like, okay, I feel comfortable with Melissa. I like being with Melissa. I choose her. Or Jack. There's this Jack guy, and then Rebecca says, I really like Jack. And yeah, I've had Fred and Todd flirt with me, but Jack just does it for me. And it has nothing to do with looks. It has to do with the mental chemistry we have. Because folks, I'm sorry, but yeah, looks might be important to some, but you got to go beyond that, because otherwise you're going to get bored. It's like buying a car, right? How faithful are you going to be to a car? Well, when you find the right car, you want to stick with it, right? You got that Ferrari, you're not going to let that go. You know, as good looking as a Beamer can be, if you got that Ferrari and you're happy, you're going to stick with it, even if it breaks down at times. Okay, so people who want to be in a relationship, they are going to care and they're going to choose you. Always.
Looking for real conversations about love, connection, and everything in between? Listen to Love Hacks. Honest, heartfelt, and in 4 languages: English, Espanol, Francais, and Portuguese. Find your version wherever you get your podcast. See you soon.
You're not an option. You're the choice. It's simple as that. And yeah, those of us who think we're the choice and then we're not, and then we try to forgive. No, you have to draw the line. You're like, okay. And I'm not talking about marriage. I'm just talking about partner choice. Okay, because I don't want to pressure people. There are different religions, different credences. What I'm talking about is partners as couples. And that exists in every religion. If you want to be that choice, you have to let it be known. Okay? Never be an option. Unless you want to be. Unless you don't care, well, that's your choice. I'm not condemning that. I'm not condemning that. Because there are some people that are like, oh, I'm a butterfly. Today I can be with Maria and tomorrow with Bob. And the next day I can be with Bob and Maria. There are people like that. And they're perfectly happy and it's very respectable. But most of us, we want to be the choice. The choice. I'm not lying. Doesn't matter what credence you are. Now, why they stay. So, once you're past all that, you're like, okay, well, why is this person staying? So, simply, people don't leave situations that are comfortable for them. So that's where you have to have a clinical eye. I mean, if they can have connection, cool. If they can have closeness, cool. But the last one, if they have access to you, well, what sort of access? Is it access as a proper partner? A relationship partner? Or is it an almost relationship partner? Or is it a booty call? That's what you have to watch out for, right? I mean, if somebody on Saturday evening calls you at midnight and says, I want to see you, and they didn't call you at all during the week, you can rest assured that's a booty call. Because somebody who really values you is going to plan something way ahead of time. They're going to say, I'm dying to see you. I want to see you this weekend. And they're calling you on Monday or Tuesday. And you're like, okay, let's see if we can. And maybe you have some event because you have a life too. I mean, you can't let your life revolve around the other person. I've said this before. You could say, you know what? I really want to see you, but I've gotten an event. Well, a person who really, really wants to see you will be like, well, at what time does the event end? And you'll be like, well, maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. Then the person will say, well, look, if it's too late, how about this? How about we go for lunch the next day? Like they'll look for ways to be with you without making you feel uncomfortable. Because interest in someone is that. You want the person to feel their best. And you will appreciate the fact that that person you're interested in has a life. A self-centered person is only going to think of themselves. They'll only be like, well, I can't go this weekend because I have a meeting and it's me, 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 and they won't even ask about you. Those people are self-centered. I really don't recommend them. So I have to do this, that, I got this meeting. In the meantime, maybe you have to go to a funeral. Maybe you have to work extra hours and they don't even bother. Nah, rarely can you salvage that. You know? Now, once you've almost reached to the point of having a relationship, your head has to shift the questions, okay? It's no longer about what are they going to do? What are we going to do? I mean, with them, what do they want to do? Them. And you're thinking them, oh, this weekend we're going with his parents, or this weekend we're going to an NFL game because it's his favorite team, or next weekend we're going fishing because that's his favorite hobby. What about you? So there has to be a sort of shift. It has to become more even. Hey, this weekend we can go to the NFL game. How about next weekend we go to, as the now unpopular Timothy Chalamet said, oh, no opera, no ballet, but you say, I want to go to the ballet. So this weekend we go to the NFL. We go to an NFL game or whatever game, a baseball game, whatever. And then the following weekend we go to La Toscana opera. Your partner should be like, cool, thank you for giving me kudos. And yeah, next weekend we'll do opera, even if I fall asleep, but I'll go because you're going to the NFL game or the baseball game, right? There's compromise. There's no rocket science here. It's a balance. It's a trade-off. It's trade. Okay, I'll do this for you. Or even with the in-laws. Okay, you want to go to Thanksgiving with your parents. Okay, well, how about this? Thanksgiving with your parents and then Christmas Day with my parents. Oh, but wait, no. Well, wait a second. Christmas Eve can be with your parents again. Oh, okay. If the guy starts bitching or the girl starts saying, oh, no, I want both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, you're like, are you for real? Like, you got Thanksgiving, so I get hands up on I get, what is it? Shotgun. I get shotgun on Christmas, and I want Christmas Day. So your family's going to have to do with Christmas Eve. A logical, balanced person, and I mean there's other religions and that, but a logical, balanced person would be like, okay, all right, got you. Christmas Eve with my family. Thanksgiving with my family. And Christmas Day with my family. And Christmas Eve with my family. You get all Christmas Day. All of it. All the hours. You know? So you have to negotiate. And that you do with a real partner, not an almost real, a real partner. Because an almost real will be like, well, I'm going off with my family. See you later. I'll see you in February. Oh, and on Valentine's Day, I'll see you in the afternoon because I'm going to be with my family. It's like, okay, bite me. Right? So, I mean, again, if you're willing to accept their conditions, well, you're losing out. You're losing ground, and they will never be satisfied. That's the other thing. I mean, you can't be a people pleaser at all times. It backfires, folks. Trust me. Don't be a Tasmanian devil either. try to enlighten them and say, okay, let's be fair, 50-50. And with a real partner, with somebody who gets sharing, you'll be able to achieve that. With an almost partner, it won't happen. They'll be like, but it's my family, it's my time. They'll speak of me, and my whole family and life, and your life is a continuation of mine, basically. The me people, they're not good partners. All right? It should be you and me and you. You and I, me and you. Not me. Okay, remember that. So guys, you can understand someone's situation. You really can. And still walk away. You can care about someone and still choose yourself, because maybe you care for them, but it's like, no, well, this is, I choose myself. Because the moment you stop waiting to be chosen, you start choosing your own life. So, and this is not to sound selfish. This is just to say, in order for you to act well, you have to be okay with yourself. You have to self-check. Not be selfish, just self-check. If your partner is making you go to their parents' house every weekend and you barely see yours, or maybe you don't have a good relationship with yours, but you really don't want to go to your partner's parents' house every freaking single weekend, well, you have the right to say, you know what? You and I are a couple. Can't we do something together on the weekend as opposed to being with your parents or your brother and sister or whatever? You and me, man. And if we have a kid, you, me, and the kid. We got to make our own life, our nuclear life. Because again, we have chosen to be a couple. We are in a real relationship. An almost relationship would be like, okay, well, I guess, okay. Giving in the whole freaking time. No, sucks. So guys, I'm going to let you go now. I want you to think about all this. Remember, almost relationship versus real solid relationship. So if this resonated with you, subscribe and tell us what you think about the comments. All right? So take care. Have a great week. And remember this. You want real, not almost. Bye and have a wonderful week. Ciao.
If this episode resonated with you, make sure to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.